if you haven't heard already, Darrelle Revis was just cut from the New York Jets. Well, not just cut, he was just cut on this Tuesday. Now, in this article, they're talking about how Todd Bowles thought about it. They said the reason why he was cut was because of the performance of play, which is actually not too much of a terrible surprise. And even though I still think that's a lie from Todd Bowles, I still think that does make sense. I mean, Darrelle Revis wasn't the same shutdown self that he was in 2010 or just a couple years back. And quote unquote here, Todd Bowles acknowledged that he was stunned when he first heard the news that Darrelle Revis was arrested last month in Pittsburgh. Yeah, he definitely was stunned about it. And I definitely look at Todd Bowles, and he likes to model stuff off for Bruce Arians. Now, Bruce Arians likes to give second chances to players that he brings in, but players that are on his roster that commit something that's undisciplined, illegal, criminal, whatever, he cuts their ass right off the team. Kind of like what happened to Michael Floyd. Michael Floyd, obviously DUI, then got cut. And there was only 2 weeks left in the season. They really just didn't want to pay him that $900K. They were through with him. Now, obviously, Revis is getting cut partially because of many reasons. I don't think it's just one. But the fact is that he's not getting cut because of the incident I think, is slightly bullshit. Because I think that incident right there was the reason why he got cut. I think the one thing that helped Darrelle Revis was he was a loyal New York Jet. A very loyal one. Obviously, he asked for a lot of money here and there, but he was a loyal one. But the fact is that he finally did something illegal and all that. This is what got him in trouble. Now, when I look at Darrelle Revis, obviously, when I was talking about him potentially getting cut during my off-season videos, if you're interested in that, it's on a playlist right there. It's one of the first playlists you see on my YouTube page. And the one thing about Darrelle Revis was the rumors of him getting cut it's only been 3 months old. It's basically fairly old news. And the one thing about Darrelle Revis is one of the destinations I thought would be Pittsburgh, because obviously he's from Pittsburgh. That's where the incident happened. It happened in Pittsburgh. But since it just happened there, basically, I don't think the Steelers would be as interested as they probably were, or something like that in regards, because obviously he just got in trouble there. I also look at the Ravens as a possibility. Obviously, they said they addressed cornerback as a need for their position. But I also look at that, and Darrelle Revis got burned a lot on the deep ball. That was his big issue, and they like to run a lot of cover one. You could exploit a lot of cover one sometimes with the cornerbacks on those deep routes and a lot of explosiveness. And Darrelle just really doesn't have that. I don't really see that. He's going to need to be in a situation where they play a lot of maybe cover 2 zone, cover 2 man. I mean, that's something I'm looking at with Darrelle Revis. Now, obviously, Darrelle Revis has been injured a lot recently, so maybe he might be the kind of guy that if the injuries clear up, it might be better, but that's usually not the case. He also, maybe in the future, since he has a lot of injuries, that he could be vulnerable or be a potential or future suspect to PEDs. Not saying he's taking them. I'm just saying that's usually what happens to some certain players that are on the decline. They will take something. So Darrelle Revis, obviously, I still think has a chance in the NFL, absolutely, and I think he can get signed this offseason, but obviously to a very cheap price. And there's some destinations, I think, if New England loses Logan Ryan, they get a cheaper option in Darrelle Revis and all of that. I think New England, obviously, is going to be familiar with that. And obviously, Bill Belichick gives a lot of second chances. I could see him possibly joining them in Seattle. Obviously, Seattle likes a nice underneath corner. And to be honest, Revis isn't the same underneath corner that he used to be, but I think they'll at least consider, because then you got Revis and then Sherman on both sides. 2 very smart quarterbacks right there. 2 that have been in the NFL for enough time to know a lot of stuff. So I think Seattle could definitely get him, and he's not going to be too expensive. Green Bay is absolutely desperate for a corner. I think they are just going to go after him. They're just going to chuck some dollars at him. But I also see the possibility of him not getting signed until the mid-season and all that to a team. I mean, I don't really see too many options. I mean, maybe San Diego and all that, but overall, I look at Darrelle Revis and his cornerback career, he's probably not the same player. And the one thing about Darrelle Revis is I think he needs to convert to a strong safety of some kind. I think he's a good tackler. I definitely don't think he might be able to do the same cutting of the routes and all that. So I could definitely see him more in a two deep safety set where they can put him out there in that kind of system. So if there's any systems out there that have that, and there's plenty of them, I think Revis could be an interesting option there to put him out there in safety and possibly convert him. And then obviously his contract would be lower if you be converted to a safety because he never played safety. Now, what does this mean about Todd Bowles? Todd Bowles is basically destined to be fired. That's basically what I think. If he's gonna, I doubt they're gonna keep Owen to another tenure to a new generation of New York Jets football player. That's just the truth. He's just not gonna go much from there. And the idea about it is next year, let's just say if they just tank it, they go 2-14 or something like that, 2-14. And Todd Bowles is just basically destined to get his ass removed out of there. I don't see him that. I know they did it with Lovie Smith with the Buccaneers, where they first brought him in. He started off the season, got the worst record in the NFL, but then they brought in Jameis Winston, let him stay there, and then fired him. So that definitely could be a possibility right there. But obviously for the New York Jets there's a lot of positions that they need, but you can look at Marshawn Lattimore. I think he's definitely a potential option right there. And I don't see them drafting a quarterback because they just drafted Christian Hackenberg the year before. So, and he was a second-round pick. That's a big reason there why they're not going to be drafting a quarterback. But Marshawn Lattimore, I mean, they could draft a left tackle, but I doubt that. But overall, when I look at Revis's career is not over, but his days are definitely done.